Hi, I'm Beverly Baligad, Director of Student Compliance and Student Title IX Coordinator. At Lansing Community College, your health, safety, and well-being is a primary concern, and we strive to create a safe and effective environment in which students can study and work. So reports of any form of sexual misconduct are taken seriously. If you or someone you know should fall victim to any sexual misconduct, we urge you to report it, and report it as quickly as possible. And we offer the following information to help and support you in that process. What exactly is Title IX? Bottom line, it's in place to protect your federal civil rights, and it specifically addresses gender-based discrimination. Title IX refers to a spectrum of sexual misconduct which we've classified into 4 broad categories: non-consensual sexual contact, non-consensual sexual intercourse, sexual exploitation, and sexual harassment. There may be misconceptions or misunderstandings as to the definitions of these terms, so we want you to understand what they mean. Non-consensual sexual contact is sexual contact that occurs without effective consent. In other words, someone touches you in a sexual way without your consent.
We met in class. There was a connection right away. And I would spend a lot of time trying to make myself look cute because he was really hot. And we would sit next to each other in class and we would flirt through the whole thing. He would even walk me to my car afterwards. He was the nicest person that I'd ever met. But that day everything was different. He asked if we could walk a different way to my car. We went down this hallway. It was out of the way and there was no one around. When we got to a certain point, he pushed me up against the wall and started kissing me. I kissed him back and it was great. But then he pushed us into a bathroom and I wasn't really prepared to go any further, but I let him take me in. And then he started to feel me up and I let it go on for a minute, but I was really uncomfortable and I asked him to stop. He then put his hands up my shirt and I shoved him.
No.
Then he started to scream at me and call me names and he stormed out.
You couldn't handle it anyway.
Now he won't even speak to me. I don't even want to go to class half the time because it's so hard.
Non-consensual sexual intercourse is sexual intercourse that occurs without effective consent. In other words, rape. Sexual exploitation is taking sexual advantage of another person without effective consent. These acts encompass a variety of behaviors, and though not so physically violent or blatant as rape or non-consensual sexual contact, they can be just as devastating to a victim. They include things like causing or attempting to cause an incapacitation of another person to gain sexual advantage over them, causing prostitution, recording, photographing, or transmitting identifiable images of private sexual activity or intimate parts of another person, such as genitalia, groin, breasts, or buttocks, allowing third parties to observe private sexual acts, voyeurism, or knowingly or recklessly exposing another person to significant risk of sexually transmitted infection, including HIV.
Me and my friend took a fitness class together. He was always really cool and fun to hang around with. But then he decided it'd be real funny if he took a picture of me in the shower and put it on Facebook. Everyone thought it was real hilarious, except me. It's just humiliating, you know? I can't even go to class anymore because I can't trust he won't do it again.
So I met this guy on campus and we started hanging out a lot. I was even happy when we started taking things to the next level, but I immediately started showing signs of an STD. So I went and got it checked out, and sure enough, I had gonorrhea. I knew it had to come from him because I hadn't been with anyone else in so long. So I went and confronted him about it, and he laughed. He said that he only needed 2 more girls to speak up about it before he'd win a case of beer from his roommates. How is it that there are guys out there that can treat you this way?
Sexual harassment is unwelcome conduct based on sex or gender stereotypes, which is so severe or pervasive that it unreasonably interferes with a person's college employment, academic performance, or participation in college programs or activities, and creates a working, learning, program, or activity environment that a reasonable person would find intimidating, hostile, or offensive. As with sexual exploitation, sexual harassment can take on many forms and has many possible scenarios.
It started early on in the class. One of the female students started flirting. I just tried to ignore her, but the more I did, the more aggressive she became. She sent me emails detailing the kind of things we could do together. I took her out of class one day, and in the hall, I told her this was inappropriate and she needed to stop. She said she was sorry, but the emails continued. Then somehow, she got my cell phone number and started sending me explicit pictures of herself. At one point, my wife checked my phone when a text came in, and that caused a real mess at home. I've told this girl over and over to stop. Just leave me alone. No calls, no messages, no pictures, nothing. She doesn't listen.
I was struggling in economics, and it didn't help that there was a jerk in there who seemed to be infatuated with breasts, and he sure loved mine. He made rude comments to me all the time, and when I told him to shut up, he just told me to take it as a compliment. And it just got worse no matter what I said. He knew I was having trouble in class, so he offered to tutor me, saying I wouldn't have to pay him if I just showed him my breasts. And that was it. I stopped going to class after that. I can take econ again next semester.
Sexual assault and sexual harassment are considered the most underreported offenses. For many people, making this sort of report is very difficult for a myriad of reasons. They feel embarrassed or feel partly to blame. Maybe their no wasn't clear enough, or maybe they offered encouragement without realizing it. Some people who have been harassed but not physically hurt might think there has been no harm done, when in fact there was. Or they may have known the person, so they feel trapped, wanting the sexual misconduct to stop, but not wanting to get the guilty party into trouble. If they've been threatened, they may be afraid to report anything. But please keep this in mind. A key element to the prevention of sexual misconduct and violence is reporting them as soon as possible when they do happen. And at LCC, we have a person, a place, and process to help you do that. First, if you have any complaint against an LCC student, contact me, Beverly Bolligod. I'm located in room 135 of the Gannon Building. For complaints against an LCC employee, your contact is Lori Willett, LCC's Human Resources Manager, in room 106 of the Administration Building. At Lansing Community College, we want to make sure your educational environment is one that helps you to be successful. If you or someone you care about has experienced a type of sexual misconduct, we're here. We care, and we want to help you. Thank you.